Hi, I'm Rick with Pleasant Blades Landscape Company. We're here on a new customer's lawn, coming out at winter time. Have some problems with it, some bare areas and some other things. So the first thing that we're going to do when we come up to a new lawn is we're going to do an assessment. We're going to look at, like I said, bare areas, how much moss there might be, do we have shade, overall general condition. We're going to look at the age. By looking at this, I'm going to say by the age of the home and the landscape, we're probably in the 15 to 20 year range. Those are just things that give me some knowledge or a little bit of background of what's going on to help determine what's going to be good. The other thing that we can do is check and see what the soil depth is, and that's really easy. You just take a shovel, push it down, and we hit a good spot here. So you know, we're 6 inches or more. Checking some other spots, we might be 4 inches, and so we've got good soil to work with, or good soil depth to start with, and so that's going to ensure us some good success down the road. Step 2, aeration. This is where we use a tool like the aerator to pull a plug in the lawn that is about 3 or 4 inches in depth, and what it does is reduce compaction, increase drainage, and allow the nutrients and the seed to really get down there in good to the soil. Best times of year to do this, spring and fall. That's because typically it's a little bit cooler, and as you can see today, we've got some moisture, so it can pull a good plug. You can do it in the summer, but you are going to want to irrigate first and just make sure that you have a good damp lawn to pull a good plug. Third step is thatching, and each case is going to be a little bit different. Some cases you'll need to do it, some cases you won't. It's going to depend on your thatch layer, the dead layer of leaves and stems from the lawn, how much moss you have, and whatnot. This lawn's kind of borderline, but we wanted to show you anyway. So this is what it's going to pull up. It's going to pull up some of the dead stuff. You want to set your thatcher depth at just the right depth to not go too deep, but just kind of touch that soil surface and pull that up. We're not rototilling here. We're just taking up the dead stuff. And it's not uncommon to have a whole layer of this stuff over your whole lawn. So after that's done, you're either going to rake it up, some people blow it into piles, or some people run over it with the lawnmower. Your method that works good for you is going to be different for everybody, but either all of those will work. You just want to make sure to get it out of there. Our next step after aerating and thatching and doing the cleanup is we're going to want to apply some lime. This is Dolipril, or a dolomitic lime. There's also Calpril, or calcium-based lime. Your garden center or nursery is going to have what's have in stock what's recommended for your area. The rate you apply it is 50 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So you want to measure your lawn up, and it might seem like it's going out heavy, and that's normal. That's what you want. So here we are getting ready to put out the lime. In this case, we just have a handheld spreader, and that's due to the size of the lawn that we're working with. You're welcome to use a larger spreader for a larger lawn area. And again, it's 50 pounds per 1,000 square feet, so you're just going to put it out really heavy. Sometimes it's going to take several passes to get that amount down. Don't be afraid to also, if you want to, just kind of throw it out by hand. That works just as well. The key is 50 pounds per 1,000 square feet, and now is the opportune time because we're opening that soil surface up to accept it. Step 5 is applying starter fertilizer. And that's going to not only feed the grass that's already there, but it's also going to help that new grass to get germinated. And what's different about starter fertilizer than regular fertilizer is it's the ratio of the 3 nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And in this case, it's just a 1-1-1 ratio. The analysis is a 16-16, but the analysis at your garden or nursery center might be different, but that's what you want to look for. Or another good combination would be where these final two numbers are a little bit higher. Also very similar to a fall fertilizer, but it's this analysis or these final two numbers that are going to help that grass get growing and to germinate. When applying starter fertilizer, you can use the same method that you used for the lime, and you can also just make sure you read the label, read the directions. It's going to tell you how many pounds per 1,000 square feet to use. And it might have a recommendation for new lawns, it might have a recommendation for overseeding, and it might have a recommendation for established lawns. So you're going to want to follow the directions for either overseeding or new lawns, because that's going to put out the right rate to get that new grass germinated. You also want to make sure to try to keep it on the lawn areas. It's not going to hurt anything going into the flower beds, but keeping as much on the lawn areas as you can is going to make sure that all the nutrients help that new grass get growing. Our next step is seeding, and you want to again go to your garden center, nursery supplier. I got this from our sod supplier, a good reputable source for seed. They're going to be able to steer you in the right direction, what's right for your landscape. In this case, with having shade, getting it established, kind of the longer winter sometimes, we selected grass that's going to do predominantly better in the shade. But you're going to want to again select what's right for you. There's different types of grasses, ryegrass, fine fescue. Those typically do best in the northwest here. Again, search out what's best for your landscape. Grass is certified. It has this little tag on it that guarantees what's in the bag is actually in the bag. It's also certified to be predominantly weed-free, usually I think 90–99% weed-free. So definitely use a good source for that. Applying the seed, again, you can use the same method as before. This is a handheld broadcast spreader. You could use a drop spreader or a walk-behind broadcast spreader. What you want to do is follow the directions on the seed package, but generally for overseeding you're going to be 6 to 7 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Best times for seeding, probably about March 15th up to June 15th, maybe 4th of July, and then again probably from Labor Day to about October 15th. You can do it in the summer, but just realize you're going to have to probably water it a little bit more frequently. It's going to be a little bit hotter and warmer. Fall time is great because we have nice warm nights still, the soil's warm, and so that has a good constant environment to get that seed to germinate. Our next step is to put down a covering over that seed to protect it from birds, wind, rain, and also to help germinate it by it keeps a little bit of warmth around it, and also helps retain moisture around it. You can use peat moss, very popular product. This product is actually called turf mulch, and this is actually a recycled fiber. So in keeping in line with green, with it being recycled, we're not doing any harm to the environment. You just need to put a light coat of it down, and you can sprinkle it by hand over the bare areas, just like this, or shake it like this. You don't have to go too thick. A little bit goes a long ways. Both with peat moss and with this product, you can expect probably 300 to 500 square feet per bale of product. And again, doesn't have to go over the whole lawn, just the bare areas. You've thatched, aerated, limed, fertilized, overseed, and put down the peat moss or turf mulch. What's next? Well, you need to keep it watered. And that's why you want to do it in the spring or the fall, because you're going to have Mother Nature helping you out. You are going to need to keep some moisture around it fairly constantly to keep that grass to grow and to germinate, because those new seedlings are tender. If it's dry, you're going to probably maybe think 3 to 5 times a day for just maybe 5 or 10 minutes a shot. You don't want to flood it out, just keep the moisture on it. So use your sprinkler system timer or use one of the hose end timers. but keeping it moist is very, very key until germination. You can probably expect to see germination within 7 to 10 days, more likely 14 days, a little bit dependent on weather and temperature. And then after germination, it's growing, it's coming up, probably in that 21 to 25 day window. You're going to mow it for the first time. You're going to mow it at about 3 inches, 3.5 inches in height, and then gradually bring it down from there. That's also a good time, somewhere between that first and second mowing, to do another application of starter fertilizer. That new grass is going to need some extra energy to keep growing, and then after that follow a normal fertilizing schedule, usually probably 4 to 5 times a year is good. I hope you found this helpful today. If you find in the future that you do need some help with some of your landscape maintenance needs, just like this, landscape renovation, lawn mowing, or even just trimming and pruning, give Buds and Blades a call.